So today's talk is called WWBD. What do you think that means? You look, you sneak. What would Buddha do? What did Buddha do? Did the same thing that Jesus did. The same thing that you and I must do as well. Woke up to who we truly are. That's what we're here for, right? For a wake-up call, not just a statue. Invitation to awaken to the deeper well of being within us. From my our July-August newsletter, we wrote this together. I wrote down these thoughts. I've been watching reruns of The Voyager with Jean-Luc Picard, and it's so long since I've watched it. I'm watching them for the first time. It's the gift of getting older. It starts all over every week. Did we watch this video? I think we did last week, but I'm enjoying it. Space, the final frontier. Our lifetime journey is to boldly go where few others have gone before, to enter into a conscious relationship with the space between our thoughts, to explore that inner space that produces after its kind. When we enter into the deep space of our own being, we discover a universal source of energy and power that can guide us to brave new inner and outer worlds of existence, consciousness, and bliss. So this summer, we can do that kind of practice with ourselves, to contact that inner world, to bravely go to that space in between us where most people ignore most of the time. Charles Fillmore, the co-founder of Unity, he said, if in all this babble, I cannot go to headquarters and directly touch this inner place called God and me, then the whole thing's a fraud. He began to meditate every day at the same time and felt the tingling sensations of the presence of God within him. You and I are called upon to do exactly the same thing. My teacher and my guide for this summer and for the next series of a few lessons I'll be giving is actually a book that I read 12 years ago called Reflections on a Mountain Lake. But I'm not even sure this is in print anymore. The Teachings on the Practice of Buddhism, Practical Buddhism, by Tenzin Palmo. She was born in 1943, and she felt immediately the stirrings of spirit within her. And she went in 1964 to Tibet and became the first Buddhist Tibetan nun to ever be ordained in that particular way of life as a Westerner. And she decided after 12 years of practice that she needed to have a deeper relationship, not with what just Buddha did, but what did he accomplish when he woke up to who he truly is? So she decided to go off for 12 years into meditation retreat. 12 years. This is a tough, strong, powerful, Buddha-filled female divine energy. And so she found a cave and with some windows in it, and basically all winter long, in the Himalayan winters, when that snow starts to hit, you don't have anybody around you for 8 months. She spent time in meditation, taking care of herself, and going boldly beyond where most of us ever go. And so as a guide to awakening, to existence, consciousness, and bliss, she's helped me reawaken and re-remember again the practices that I sometimes get sloppy with. You know this, Paul, you do this for a long time, and it's real easy sometimes to sort of take it for granted, still sit in the morning, but kind of blah, 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 and to be re-inspired again by someone who helps me remember what I'm doing when I sit. This book is unparalleled. For me, it was a door opener back 14 years ago, and it's helping me do it again. She talks about an experiment that was done with meditators and non-meditators. One of them was a Tibetan Buddhist monk who'd been meditating for 40 years, and the other person was just a regular person like you and I, yapping and moving around with life. And they hooked electrodes to their brains, and the non-meditator, a loud noise showed up. And the mind of the non-meditator got completely agitated. And then would wait, and then it would happen again. And then a little less next time, little next time, and then finally hardly seeing it. The mind of the meditator would go out and greet it, hear the noise, pay attention to it, come back into a place of calm, abiding peace. It would happen again. It was regular. Boom! Would go out and meet it again, just as if it was brand new again, and then go back to a place of calm, abiding peace. 6, 7 times, the meditator would show the same kind of respect to it as if it were happening for the first time. That's the childlike innocence of meeting each moment in your life with fresh, new eyes. That's where our practice, if we're doing one, is going to lead us towards. That kind of not becoming rote with our practice, but waking up every day with fresh, new eyes, being grateful for the life that you have. So I left y'all, and I'm saying that pretty regularly now, 4 years, it's finally happened, y'all. It was after Sunday, and I went to my son-in-law's house, and my daughter was having her birthday, and to hang out with my granddaughter as well. And I woke up on Monday morning to meditate, and I dragged my weary valley of the dry bones to my seat and sat up straight and did my 45 minutes. And I was sitting there meditating, and my granddaughter, after I got done, she came and she jumped up on my lap, and she said, "Papa, what are we gonna do today?" You know, because that's how she is. What are we doing today? She knew we were there to play with her. Great. And I said, well, I think what we're gonna do is go to Grandma's pool. And she opens up her iPad, of course, iPad, and goes, "Papa, there's a 60% chance of rain today." I said, but Emerson, you know what that means, don't you? If there's a 60% chance that it's gonna rain today, there's a 40% chance that it won't. And she went, "What?" I said, well, there's a 100% chance that this could happen, or that could happen, or that could happen, or this could happen. Is always a percentage. So if it's 60% chance that this will happen, there's also 40% chance that it won't happen. So let's go find the 40% chance where it won't be raining. She went running in the room, told Jim, told Maureen, told Maura. Can you believe this? The insight that comes from the innocence of a child. And so we got in the car in the rain to go to Rose's pool. And we got to Rose's pool, and Maureen will verify this. There was an opening above the pool of sunshine that stayed there for 3 hours while we were there. It was just there for the whole time. The tornado watch came up after 3 hours, but we were done anyway. And so what a great lesson in it's this, but it's also that. And the percentage is just what you do with each day and what you choose either to see or focus on. There's always a chance that this or that will happen, and we never know. After a nap and some food, it was time to go for a bike ride, because now the weather had totally changed. The percentages shifted, as they always do, and we're going for a ride. And Emerson's, is she on her third bike, Jim, or second one? Second bike. She just gets bigger and bigger. About a year ago, we taught her how to ride, myself, Maureen, and Jim, and now she's on a bigger bike, and we're going down this hill, and as we're going down the hill, Emerson decides to make a left turn right in front of me, and so I instinctively, without any thought, turned the wheel of the bicycle, dropped it on the ground, and slid for a bunch of feet on concrete. It doesn't slide real well, the body doesn't slide real well. And the first thing I did was I looked at Emerson and I said, "Baby, are you okay?" Most importantly. And she was fine, but she was really all shook up. And so what I noticed about what happened to me was, I immediately went into shamatha, which is awareness of breath. I noticed my breath was breathing, panic, oh, shoulder, pain. And I just sort of came back to breathing in. I know that I'm alive, breathing out, I'm in a body. Oh boy, am I in a body right now. I'm aware that my body is in pain right now. I just brought awareness of something greater than the experience externally of what was going on in circumstances to just what was present in the moment. I was so grateful that I decided to get serious about my practice 2 weeks ago, because you never know when you're going to need it. And so I stood up and I did a fearless inventory of the cut on my foot. I won't show you that, but the bruise on my leg, and my hip was sore, and this cut here, and then this one on my hand, and my shoulder hurt. But when I started to walk back with the bicycle, I realized probably I was not going to be leaving my body right now. It wasn't that big of a deal, but it hurt. And we started walking, and I got on the bike, and we both went back to the house. And Emerson came scooting up the driveway to the house and walked in, and they told me what she said to him. "Emerson, what happened to you?" The look on her face was, "Are you okay?" She goes, "I'm fine, but Papa's not." And when they came out and looked at me, the four of them, all of a sudden I didn't feel so good anymore. Even Jim, who's a PA, was, whoa, man. I was covered in blood. You know, that was what was happening to my body at that moment. You never know what's going to happen to your body in any one moment. That's what was happening. Always need a good example for Sunday. I prefer some lighter ones than this, but what I'm grateful for is I didn't hit my granddaughter head on. That would have been bad. The dropping of the bike. It was good. It was good. So we get in the shower, and Jen gives me this little scrubber thing to scrub the gravel out from the cuts. I have a body, but I'm more than just my body. I'm existence, consciousness. Ow! Got all wrapped up in bandage, sat down, Emerson, in the living room with me, and she's like, she feels so bad. I said, honey, you know that when you get a boo-boo, you know this, the kids say this, you get lots of attention that you wouldn't normally get. And you know how much Papa loves attention, doesn't he? More than just on Sunday for 22 minutes when I get people to stare at me. Most of the time I'm ignored all week long except for this moment. And so I get this extra attention that I'm going to get. And you know how much I love it. So of course she starts to laugh, I start to laugh, and I realize how much my ribs also are killing me as well. But the beginning practice of bringing us to a place of having that as an option to react from, rather than getting caught in what's going on, is a result of practice. We've been doing this for 40 years. Maureen and I have been at this work, and particularly in that moment, it paid off really well to be able to be conscious of the breath. She says it's the beginning practice. It's called shamatha, of awareness of breath, of calm, abiding peace. And that's a tough thing in our culture to get people to do that, because we don't like that. We don't like to calm down. We want to do more. I want to be stimulated. The first moment I wake up and my energy drinks during the day and my workout at the gym and more and more and more. Just keep stringing these things together. That's called a great day. Wake up exhausted the next day, wondering what you did, and start all over again with another to-do list, right? Anybody relate to that? That's what we do. So calm, abiding meditation and peace is the beginning of going beneath the surface of what appears to be. In the Bible, the story that talks about shamatha, the first student of that in the Bible, is the woman at the well of Samaria. I've talked about this before. Here's Christed consciousness sitting on this well, and here comes this woman with her Jacob storyline about her thoughts and emotions and her people and her tribe, and she sees this Jewish guy sitting there, and she says, "What are you doing sitting at Jacob's well? What is this right here?" And he said, "Well, give me a drink." "Shh, give me a drink." She goes, "What are you talking about, give you a drink?" "If you give me a drink, I'm telling you, something's going to change for you here." "Why are you talking to me? Are you greater than our father Jacob?" You know, I have a story about everything. Here's this big Jacob storyline. And Jesus says, God is spiritus. Those who worship God must worship God in spirit and in truth. You know what spirit means? Breath. Breath. Calm down. Bring your I don't have 5 husbands. You do too. It's your senses. Come sit with me a while, and we will go into the well of your own being, where we will discover something. A fount of knowing and knowledge and energy that when you connect to it, you'll never thirst again. And she starts to get it, as we do as well. Shamatha, awareness of breath, coming back into the moment. I have thoughts and feelings and emotions, but I'm more than those thoughts, feelings, and emotions. And when you calm down enough to look, you see just at the surface level are all the thoughts and emotions that you hold to be true about who you think you are. It's that thing you wake up with every morning and you think that these things are true about who you are. Actually, they're just temporary moments in time. They're thoughts and feelings. You're more than those thoughts and feelings. There's no such thing as a negative emotion. There are negative ways in which we deal with our emotions. But thoughts and emotions are neither negative or positive. They just are. That's the kind of awareness we're pointing towards here. The Tibetan Buddhists call it entering into meditation after you calm down with the big question mark. Who am I? Really? That's the big question that's being asked of you this morning. Who is it that men say that I am? Jesus said in the Bible. And some said Elijah, and some said you're this, and some said you're Moses, come back. And Jesus said, who is it that you say that I am? For how you see me is how you'll see yourself. And only one could answer, and that was the one who called him Christ, the Son of a living God. That's who you are. That's the question mark you bring into meditation. Who is this person that keeps doing the same things over and over again? And you go deeper than just what appears to be at the surface level. So you don't keep repeating the same things over and over again. You move to another town, you notice all the same people you didn't like in the other town happen to be here. Oh God, there you are again. It's the 10th time I've met you in the last 20 years. Of course, you're meeting yourself. Thoughts and feelings and emotions in the form of people who are an embodiment, who are driving you crazy. It's not them that's driving you crazy, it's your own minds. We begin to take all the energy that boldly goes out into the world, and we begin to direct it in on ourselves. We find it takes a lot of energy to do this deeper work. So it's going to mean you're going to have to commit yourself to sitting every single day, having a practice that calms the mind down. I think 90% of our problems would dissipate if we just learned how to be still an instant and remember who we are. Underneath that will become amazing insights, amazing insights. So I'm on the ground after my accident. I'm all shook up. I can't even lie on the other side. I'm down there on the ground, and I'm thinking, I've hit the ground again on a bicycle. This is back the third big bicycle thing I've had in my lifetime so far. Talked about the one last week with the leg and the hip broke, bicycle, sister. Broke my hip, took a year to heal. Then I remembered the Hebrew school one. Coming home from Hebrew school, I'm trying to be a good Jew. Some drunken woman hits me, and I go flying off my bicycle. 35 stitches, my foot, another bite, and then this one's bicycle. It's like, maybe the universe is trying to tell me stay off of two wheels, right? But maybe not. Maybe what I should be grateful for instead is I got a chance not to injure probably the most important 8-year-old I know in my life right now. I'm more grateful for that than I am about judging myself for what did or didn't happen to me. If someone had to take the blow at that moment, wouldn't you rather have it be you? And I did. And there it is. And what it means, what do I know? I got back on the bike 2 days later with Maureen. She goes, "Are you okay?" And I said, "I'm great." It was fun to be on the bike. My hip still hurts, but it's fun to be on the bike because that's what we do. We get back on the horse and you ride it again. You lose someone you love and they die. It doesn't mean you stop living. You lose your health. It doesn't mean you give up on your life. You come back and you find other ways to be healthier in your life. You don't give up. You just get back up on it and do it again and again and again. What's that Jackson Brown song? When the morning light comes streaming in, you get up and do it again. Amen, right? That's what you do. That's what we do. So all of this is passing by, and I'm watching myself, and I'm watching my thoughts and how I look at what's going on. I'm also watching that this is a great opportunity for me not to do what I usually do. I could not work out at the gym for 6 days. I have not had 6 days off from working out in 40 years. I start to become an impossible person if I don't do something working out. And I went, I'm not going to get to pull that one anymore. I get to 6 days, 7 days. I actually went back one day too early, and my whole wrist blew back up again. But that's another story next Sunday. Who am I if I'm not working out at the gym? Who am I if my children are gone? Who am I if he leaves me? Who am I if it doesn't turn out the way I thought it should? That's a good question to keep asking. It redirects the focus of energy back in you, because when you begin to ask the serious question about who you are, that which you are will tell you who you are. You are existence, consciousness, and bliss. You are the Christ, the Son and daughter of the living God. This will rise and fall. Who you are is forever, changeless essence. That's what the Buddha found out, that's what Jesus found out, and that's what you and I are finding out as well. That's what we're here to do. I was reading a story to Maureen the morning before she went for her walk on Thursday with the dog, and it was a story about shepherds and how they take care of their flock and sheep. And Tenzin tells a story about watching this young boy take over the flock for one day for the older shepherd who was sick one day, and he didn't know what he was doing. And so he got out there and he was very panicked about wanting to make it right. So he was out there and he took the 100 sheep and he got them all really tight together in a circle, and he kept running around trying to make them stay in one place, and they didn't get enough to eat because he was just having them in this little tiny circle and they weren't eating the rest of the food. And by the end of the day, he was exhausted, he was tired and miserable, the sheep were exhausted, tired and miserable, and it was an awful day for everybody. And when the shepherd came back, the more experienced one, he took him up on the knoll with the same 100 sheep, and he sort of just lied down like this, leaning back, and had his little staff with him, and took a little sip of Chang, whatever he was drinking, and just naturally and quietly and easily just allowed the sheep to have a nice, big, wide pasture to go where they needed to go, but be contained as they could be. That's how you work with your thoughts and emotions and feelings. If you run around trying to be positive and think good thoughts, you drive yourself crazy, you drive the people you're with crazy, because if you're expecting yourself to always be positive and always feel great, guess what you want from other people? You do the same thing. And that's what makes it miserable to be around people like us. That's right. To hold it lighter and easier, be more open and present. That's the way. So I read that story to Maureen, and she went on her walk with the dog. And remember, Thursday was the first day that the humidity was there right away in the morning. It was a hot, hot, hot day in paradise. So Maureen left around 8 o'clock with the dog, and she found herself, and I want to get the story straight, she gave me some correction. You guys get the corrected version of the second service. She started to get out there and, oh, Lord, it's already humid and hot, and just I'm hot, I'm sticky, and then she turned the corner and went, let me investigate this a little bit further. This is just sticky and hot. That's what this is. It's called summertime in North Carolina. This is the fourth one. Yes, I can feel the sweat on my body, and as I'm walking, I'm dripping sweat, and it's humid, it's hot. And just investigating what her mind was doing took it from holding everything real tight to opening up to a bigger pasture, and all of a sudden, it became a moment of the mind of the Buddha and the heart of the Christ, awakening to the present moment without the burden of judgment. So yeah, she came back, she was dripping wet, sticky, and hot, but she didn't have the extra burden of a hot, sticky, judging mind making what was already going on, and it's going to continue to go on even worse. Say amen to that one. Amen. So I went to sleep on Monday night with all my bandages on. They gave me some things to take to sleep, but it was still hard, the rocking back and forth. I could not find a position that worked that night, and I got up on Tuesday morning. I went to go look at myself in the mirror, and all the bandages had leaked through, and my ribs hurt, and my shoulder was better. It wasn't broken, but I'm grateful that nothing was broken. But I was bruised, and I just started laughing at myself in the mirror in the second breath and going, good God, you look like a mess, look at you. But it didn't stop me from taking my seat in meditation. Don't let anything stop you, because this is the only thing that will save you. I took my seat and make sure I wasn't dripping anywhere. And breathing in, I know that I'm alive. Breathing out, I'm very aware that I have a body. My body can be young or old. It can feel happy or sad. It can be scraped. Bones can be broken. But I'm more than just my body. Aren't you? I'm existence, consciousness, and bliss for a moment in time. In the body, breathing in, I know that I'm alive. Breathing out, I'm going to send loving kindness to all the different aches and pains that I have in my body. Not let any of them take me over, but just be aware that that's what I'm experiencing now. And I get to walk around for another 5 days and be real conscious, because every elbow, every knee seems to want to hit something. Everybody wants to touch your hand. At this point, there was no shaking hands. I had to use my left hand. I became a lefty for a few days. Thank you for this great lesson. Breathing in, I know that I'm alive. Breathing out, I once again want to thank the presence of something within me that dropped that bite before I clobbered my granddaughter. Thank you for that. So 100% of your day is before you. And I can't tell you what's going to happen. 60-40, 50-50, 70-30, 90-10, I don't know. But there's blue sky right above you if you're willing to stay present. It might happen and it might not happen, but what will show up is you if you show up for it. This particular wonderful summertime, take time to practice being aware of your breathing in and breathing out so you can calm down enough to boldly go inside and touch the fount of knowing that when you drink of it, you shall never thirst again. Practice well. Practice deeply. It's not just for you, but for all the other people who are on the road of life with you. Namaste.
Namaste.